What if I told you India just pulled off something that was supposed to take 8 years? In under 2? Yeah, let's talk about that. Like India's National Quantum Mission, a 6,003 crore rupees program running from 2023 all the way to 2031, had one big audacious goal: build a 2,000-kilometer quantum communication network. The original deadline was 8 years. India demonstrated a working 1,000-kilometer network in less than 2. That's not ahead of schedule. That's a completely different league. Now, what even is quantum communication? Okay, think of your regular internet like sending a letter in a transparent envelope. Anyone who intercepts it can read it. Quantum communication is like sending that letter in an envelope that physically self-destructs the moment someone tries to open it without permission. It uses the laws of quantum physics, specifically something called quantum entanglement, to make data transmission theoretically unhackable. No brute force attack, no backdoor, no workaround. Full stop. And why does this matter geopolitically? Because India just joined a very short list. The US, China, the EU. Countries that have demonstrated real quantum infrastructure at scale. This isn't a lab experiment. It's a strategic declaration that India wants its own sovereign digital security backbone, built here, controlled here, not dependent on anyone else's encryption technology. The startup angle is quietly fascinating too. When the NQM launched, it was backing 8 quantum startups. That number is already at 17, and the funding model is genuinely founder-friendly. Something called optionally convertible debt, where the government can convert its loan into equity later, but doesn't have to. So, startups get the capital without giving up control. Patient money for long bets. That's smart design. So India can execute deep tech at speed. Great. But what does this actually mean for the economy and for investors? That's exactly where we're going next. So India built the network. Cool. But who actually benefits? And who's just waiting? Let's get into the real economics of this. First, clear winner. Deep tech startups. Take QNU Labs out of Bengaluru, building quantum-safe encryption hardware. These companies now have something most early-stage startups would kill for: a guaranteed government anchor customer. And through the OCD model, that's ownership, control, and data. They get access to patient capital, meaning investors who aren't breathing down their necks for returns in 3 to 5 years. That combination? It dramatically de-risks the early grind and lets them actually build real technology instead of just pitching decks. Second winner, defense and intelligence. And here's where it gets genuinely alarming. There's a threat called Harvest Now, decrypt later. Hostile actors are already collecting encrypted government communications today, storing them, and simply waiting for quantum computers powerful enough to crack that encryption in the future. Quantum networks make that entire strategy obsolete. For military communications, nuclear command systems, financial settlement infrastructure. That's not a small upgrade. That's a structural security shift. Third winner. Research institutions and T-hubs. India's university-linked tech incubators. The National Quantum Mission gives them a mission-oriented framework with dedicated funding, which, honestly, is rare in India's research ecosystem. Now, the honest counterweight. The government has committed 6,003 crore rupees of public money to this, your tax rupees. And unlike a highway or a solar farm, you cannot point to a tangible return anytime soon. The commercial payoff could be 10 to 15 years out, or it could shift entirely depending on how global quantum tech evolves. Which means execution discipline isn't optional here. It's everything. And that, historically, is where India's large public programs have had a complicated relationship with the truth, so the winners are real. But so is the risk. Next, let's talk about where India actually stands globally in this race, and whether this milestone is a lead or just a head start. So we know what India built and how it works. But the real question is, why does any of this matter beyond the lab? That's where it gets interesting. Cast your mind back to 1961. Kennedy stood up and said America would land a man on the moon within a decade. No one had the technology. The price tag was eye-watering. The immediate payoff? Genuinely unclear. But here's the thing. The Apollo program didn't just deliver moon rocks. It gave us GPS, memory foam, water filtration, and the foundational computing logic sitting inside your phone right now. The moon landing was almost beside the point. The real prize was everything that spun off from simply trying. That's the Apollo analogy, and that's exactly the playbook India is running with the National Quantum Mission. The stated goal is quantum supremacy by 2031, world-class communication and computing infrastructure. But the deeper bet is on spin-offs. Quantum-safe cybersecurity as a future export sector, high-skilled R and AMP-D jobs, and cutting strategic dependency on foreign encryption for banking, defense, and power grids. Speaking of which, the NQM has explicitly identified quantum-safe cybersecurity exports as a future high-value revenue stream. That's not a side effect. That's written into the mission targets. Now, fair warning, there's a hard question sitting underneath all of this. Imagine a family with a tight education budget choosing between sending one child to an expensive elite college or improving foundational schooling for all the kids. The NQM is the elite college bet. Concentrated, high risk, potentially transformative. And the opportunity cost of 6,003 crore rupees is real. That same money could fund broader digital infrastructure, primary STEM education, or applied manufacturing R and AMP-D with faster, more distributed returns. Both bets are defensible. India has chosen this one. For entrepreneurs watching this, pay attention. The 17 startups currently inside the NQM ecosystem are just the early movers. As the network scales toward its 2,000-kilometer target by 2031, demand will explode for quantum-safe software, hardware components, cybersecurity consulting, and specialist talent. If your business touches data security, defense supply chains, or deep tech services, this is the sector to watch and potentially enter in the next 3 to 5 years. The bottom line is simple. India isn't just building a network. It's placing a generational bet on becoming a quantum technology exporter. The early results say it's ahead of the curve, for once. Whether it stays there depends entirely on sustained execution. And that's a story we'll be watching very closely. Follow us for more updates like this. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and X.